Hello and welcome to the tea time then to TNE regional. I'm gonna get it all wrong. TNE Nationals Tier 2 no assist. I'm your host DxT Hobo, and joining me as always we have the lovely DxT Ferret, but as a special guest as well we have the one and only Brett Evans. Guys, how are we doing today?
Not too bad.
Oh, quite good. Quite good. Had a good watched a good race over at Assist Tier 2, so I'm hoping for more of the same.
Fingers crossed. We have got a small amount of drivers today. Looks like the end of an era of the game is starting to come to fruition, but fingers crossed we can still get a good race out of this lot. We do get the best races here.
Well, we only have 14 races Assist Tier 2, but it was a fantastic race to watch and commentate on.
Yeah, Assist Tier 1 having a strong 19-car field with 2 reserves. The attrition rate sort of dropped near the end. Our certain co-commentator here having a drop of fuel at the end.
Lead commentator. No, joking. Yeah, do you know what it was, right? I was obviously the bit where it was raining, trying to save fuel and stuff. We had a wet race. And basically, I got so caught up with a battle between Rapol and everyone around me that I just literally forgot to change my fuel down. And then anyway, I got the races are over for me anyways. I got kind of squeezed by Rapol off the track. Partly my 50-50, my fault, his fault. Didn't give me enough room. I stuck my nose in where I shouldn't. And after that, I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to get anywhere anyway. So might as well just cruise to the finish. The child is here. Izzy is here.
Yay, Izzy!
For those who didn't catch that, do watch back the Tier 1 assist stream. It was Brett was sort of fiddling about trying to check on all the other leagues like he does when he's commentating, and he goes, is Harry commentating with a child? Turned out to be Izzy. Brett, any words?
I don't feel guilty. As if I don't feel guilty enough about it as it was when you came. I mean, I think the insinuation. I think you might have started the insinuation, and then it wasn't until Ken confirmed it that I thought, oh shit, what have I done? For the record on it, it did put me off my game a little bit for about a good 10 or 20 minutes. So if that's not a showing of how guilty I felt about it, I don't know what is. But who was
you were kind of speechless
driver?
for a little bit, which is quite good, to be honest.
It's very rare that Brett's speechless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I think March was the first driver out on the circuit today.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was just
Haven't seen March in action for a while actually, so this should be a good watch.
What I'll do, let's who we got? Jazz, do you want to jump on board and do your lap rundown? So I need to get the current standings from. I've not got them yet.
Well, what we'll do, we'll jump on with Speedy.
Speedy, cool. Let's go on with
Speedy, because he's actually at that right point now where he's just getting into it. He's on his out lap. He's got to give us a good flying lap. So as we are watching him come round onto the start-finish straight of Retafilo, as we do start the time and lap now. As you can see, this is a long straight here. It's about 1.1 kilometers long, excluding the chicane. As we do come up to the first chicane, which is called Variante di Retafilo. As you can see, it's a very sharp right-left-hander into the Curva Biasono, or common folk, it's the Curva Grande. Onto the second chicane of Variante della Ruggia, this is the one where people will tend to cut the corner or spin out more often than not, due to the fact that it is quite tough to take on. As we go around the Curva di Lesmos, a double turn, but they call it one curve for some reason. Onto this second DRS straight-ish of the Curva Seriaggio. Yes, Brett, it's actually technically a curve, but it doesn't actually mark it up. Onto the Ascari, which is actually called the Variante di Ascari. So, just so people, it just means
who are you actually running on board with, just for the record?
Speedy, as we're on Retafilo Centro, the little middle road, onto the Curva Parabolica, which in English just means curve, which is a load of bizarreness, really, back onto the Vetafilo with a lap time of 1:19.0. A nice time there from Speedy.
Fantastic time. And while you did that, I did manage to sort out the table. So let's have a little quick rundown of those before we get into this properly. Starting with your driver's standings. Currently leading the way is still Thierry. Currently, it's actually quite a really...
just sorting out a little dilemma with no assist tier 1.
What's that?
Uh-oh.
Basically calling the championship a close.
Ah, really? That's a shame.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is a big shame.
Blame the people not turning up. That's the real reason on it.
Well, fingers crossed. Maybe they can, filter in this and just be acting reserves a bit.
Anyway,
the guys that want to carry
let's see. So Mano's now gone to the top with an 18.7. So the time to beat this week now is a 17.9 set by Ari and Samad in tier 1.
I just realised that my mic was on mute the whole time as I was commenting on the sad closure. I was like, why is Brett talking over me? I'm not normally used to this, but normally... But it's a big shame about their tier 1. But maybe, hopefully, some of them can jump in here and, maybe race as reserves if they want to carry on racing. Because I know there's a couple of guys that do want to carry on. But,
it looks like they're going to just resolve the race as a fun race. Yeah. But, yeah, as far as it goes, the championship will be decided. And what we might actually do, if this becomes the case, there was a suggestion... there was a suggestion that Assist Tier 1 starts doing back-to-back races. Not so sure about that one, but we could always...
We always put a pin in it and we can decide later, I suppose. So, I just mentioned championship. Let's have a look how our championship here is getting on. Starting with your driver standings. I know the guys probably seen this already just now because I put it up, started talking and realised that my mic was muted. So, leading the way is still Thierry with 161 points. Second place is Joe Roberts with 148. You have Ken Doyle with 129. Harry Lilas with 125. So this battle between the Red Bull and Williams is going to be very interesting coming into the season. We have Mano Beekveld, who's found his form again, up into 5th with 114. Scotty Harris with 102. Christian Havinga splits up the two Ferraris with 92, with Johnny Stokes on 86. Then we have Carl Dyer with 81. Freddie Martinez on 70. Dennis Collar with 57, Rolly Shields with 52, Goran with 35, had a good couple of races now. He's had quite a good point scoring with less drivers. Patrick Boiler with 20. Then we have Marshall Sandy and Chris Murphy with joint with 8, Decky with 2, Robert Siska with 1, and Nicky Niemanen and Miguel Fragoza with 0. What that does to your crucial constructors. Red Bull are leading the way with 286, but only 9 points behind Arden Williams with Williams Boys with 277. Ferrari with 188. Racing Point with 138. Then we have the Mercedes team with 122. Alfa Romeo at 92. 2 points behind them is the Haas on 90. We have Renault with 78. Alpha Tauri with 37. And still on 8 points is the McLaren boys. But there we go. All done. All done and dusted. So while we have you to a bit of a lull in the film, we're waiting for cars to go around, do check out the link in the description as well, guys. We have a brand new DxT TV live merch, which features merch from the TTFL League, the FSL Super League, which we are now involved in as the TTFL League as a team. So you can show your support for TTFL with that merch there as well. There's also merch for the Heads Up podcast as well. So you can get a nice graphic with our logo on it as well. And obviously the DxT TV logo as well. I've already spent 150 quid on it, by the way. Like, it's actually quite sad. Am I alone in here? Where has everyone gone?
I've just been a little bit quiet. Sorry there.
Come on, guys.
Obviously, yeah. I'm so like with Brett here. I'm so used to you and Brett just running away with it, and me just be chipping in every now and then. But Brett's also being a bit quiet right now. So
I thought I was on my own. I was about to check my party settings. Guys, as well, to all mention as well, the next 13 days you will get 15% off, so do make the most of that as well. I know Izzy always said she loves to get merch off Sidemen and stuff like that, so Izzy, there's plenty of stuff there for women as well, so do have a look at that. And so yeah, so fingers crossed at that Punch Summit. Currently past that. Sorry guys, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm going to have a little look tomorrow when I've got a bit of time. Be busy today, otherwise I would have been on it all day today and just saying, right, do I want that, do I want that?
Yeah, it was literally. It's funny because I made the site and I was looking at it. I was like, I actually like some of this stuff. So I've got like TTFL. Or I call it like a team apparel shirt. It's got like like a football shirt where you got the two logos. The team logo and then the sponsor or the not sponsor but the make. I made that for the FSL team apparel one. So you can rep the TTFL. Fingers crossed we do well in that. That starts on Sunday. Can't wait for that. Don't forget to tune in for that on Gaz's channel as well, DxT Ferret Gaming, to watch basically the whole everything TTFL will be focused with Gaz as well. So fingers crossed we get through and we do well.
Absolutely. I've seen some of the other leagues and it does look like it's going to be a very competitive knockout phase anyway.
Yeah, I've fingers crossed anyway. I'm looking forward to it, and fingers crossed, you never know, maybe in a new game we can get a TNE team going. Really show what this league is capable of, because we have got very quick drivers here.
Oh, absolutely.
Very quickly, I read some comments. He's digging a hole. He's not surprised, just disappointed. Okay, so we've got to talk about this. In assisted tier 1 today, we saw Samad set in one of the fastest times I think I've ever seen around Italy, a 1:17.971. Can it be beaten? Can it be beaten? That's the question.
It's going to be really tough.
With no assist tier 1 not being in the fray at this point, big answer to that, no. Because Ken, who's on pole position, is more than a second off.
I'm still surprised he managed to do well with the race. We had a wet race. He did a dry setup and still did it amazingly well. Like, I don't know how. It kind of begs the question: is there a point in having a wet setup?
In Monza terms, it's probably not as bad because there's not as much aerodynamic features to the circuit. Because it is a power circuit, you rely more solely on your straight line speed. So with Monza, you don't necessarily need to have such low wings in a wet setup, because the car stability is still going to be quite skatey as it is. So it's kind of easy to get away with a wet setup here. But if you were going to, like, I don't know, let's say Australia or something like that, you would probably suffer by having a dry setup on in a wet track. Just note also, we do have a reserve today in Carlos, who's in the US regionals. He's also a commentator in Tier 2.
My co-commentator.
So he's reserving today just to fill some numbers up, which, so to answer your question, Carlos, it's not a quali ban, it's just that reserves aren't permitted to qualify in the nationals and at this point in the European regionals either. It's just that because in the European regionals we've got drivers like Samad, Jack Bedford, really, really, really fast drivers that would always qualify on pole, win the races, and sort of mess up the championship perspective. Arguably saying they'll claw their way through the field as it is anyway, but it just gives you more of a realistic championship feel with the reserve starting at the back as Mano now and Prusa at 18.5, still not close enough.
Still quick, very quick though, very, very quick from Mano. We have seen a rise in form from Mano, which is I do like. Obviously, started the season very shaky. Got a couple of incidents as well. And then this second half of the season, he's really come back. So it is good to see another contender for these title races. He's got a bit of a way to go. He's still 47 points from Thierry, who's leading the way. But look how close it is. At the top, it's so close. Everyone's really tight at this in this league. Doesn't bother Infinite March now. His first time at 120.4. Let's see if he can better that. Fingers crossed he can. Brett, you were saying in your stream earlier, if you guys didn't catch it, that they're making provisional changes to this circuit.
They had talked about it in 2018 to have removed the Ratifilia and the second chicane after the Curve Grande, but I don't know what sprung it, whether the drivers complained or something like that, but they were supposed to... Well, basically the straight section at the Ratifilia was going to be you'd just go straight through, so it'd be the endless long straight into the Curve Grande. So Curve Grande would be turn 1. Turn 2 would be basically the start of the second chicane that would then flow through into 3, which then would head into the first of the Lesbos. Oh shit, I did it again. I swear it's a force of habit now.
It was gonna happen.
It is honestly, I said it the first time in season 1, and ever since I've sworn I'd never say it, and it just slips. But anyway, they go through, so the idea was to turn Monza into the true Temple of Speed by removing the chicanes and turning it into a flat, basically a really flat first and second sector.
So basically back to what it was at the beginning, but just leaving the Ascari as it is.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I think
Which means they were probably going to talk about...
Gaz, you go first, but I don't agree with it personally.
I don't. At the moment, I know the circuit itself has been looked at through other reasons because it's still not meeting all the criteria points for a level 1 safety. And if you're going to add speed onto some of the corners that do not meet the requirements, then you're going to drop it down out of FIA grade 1, becoming a grade 2, which means not even F2 can race there. So it'll be a temple of speed for your F3 and your GP cars, your GT cars. So I can't see it happening not until there's going to be development with the new aero, phase, and hopefully the cars stick like glue.
But the problem you're going to get as well is like where you can overtake. You're going to have because it's just going to be the Mercedes or the faster Mercedes, but the faster cars that are fastest in the straight line, the best top speed, are just gonna pull away. There's gonna be no chance of catching them. The only chance of catching them is that first chicane, really, because you can make a mistake. Like it's fair. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I think it's just stupid. If you're gonna make a temple of speed, make a bloody oval. Just let them go around in a bloody oval. That's the temple of speed.
They've got an oval there. They've got an oval there. They're just not allowed to use it.
The banking was so aggressive back in those days that I think it claimed about 7 or 8 lives during the 60s.
Yeah, you can imagine because they pick up 210 miles an hour on that straight before that chicane. If you're going to be flat out, you're going to be hitting 230, and look at the wall we're on board with now. There is no runoff there for that kind of speed. You're going to
maybe talking the correct unit. We're not metric here, so let's talk imperial.
Well, what's that in imperial then? I'm English, so.
You're talking about roughly about 360 kilometers an hour.
So you're going to kill. They're going to kill someone. They are going to kill someone. This track isn't designed for it. If they had a massive runoff, France,
feasibly speaking, in that way, Dan, they are supposedly going to be slowing the cars down for 2022 as it is with the new regulations and ground control.
That straight is still going to be ridiculous. Imagine because you're going to.
I don't think it's any different to.
Because with DRS and
I don't really think it's that different to
ridiculous.
China. If you think about it, at China you're doing excess of 350 kilometers an hour, and then you've got to come to an abrupt stop.
Yeah, but everyone knows it's an abrupt stop.
You've got.
Yeah, it's got. But
you've got the runoff. Runoff there, even if you have a brake failure, that runoff goes off, and the game doesn't show it, but. It does incline. it goes a lot further, and there is an incline as well after that point to help reduce the speed. The degradation on that area is a grade 5.
That's only
It
good
just
if you've
slows
got
down.
brakes, like unlike Sebastian Buemi back in 2010. Oh, that would have been horrifying.
Because also as well, the Curva Grande, like when we see it's like in races where you're going too wide through that. Even like with in this situation we've got now, with the track that's in now, it's so easy to have a car crash there. If you're adding 15, 20 miles an hour to these side by side, even if they have reduced the speed, you're still going to be picking up a lot of speed through that corner. That, and then one loses it. That car is not only going to go straight into a wall, but it could possibly go airborne at that speed. You do need to slow these cars down, and you need corners, and you need it, and also it's for fans as well. You need to be more exciting. You need to have some sort of chicane, because otherwise it'll be disappointing. You might as well just do an oval. That's my rant over anyway. But guys, what do you think in the comments? Like, would you like to see a true Temple of Speed where basically all the chicanes are gone, or do you prefer it as it is? Or what's your opinions on it? Let us know. Interesting to find out.
I think personally, on the scale of things, when you think about it in terms of the circuit itself, it's not really a temple of speed. Austria is a temple of speed because you're literally nearly sub-minute lapping around the circuits. So I reckon with ground control and all that kind of stuff, the cars next year are going to be under a minute around Austria. So you can't call Italy a temple of speed because the average lap time around Monza is still about the same average lap speed of like Hungary. So
That's very true.
the only reason they label it as a temple of speed because it's such a fast-natured circuit. It's because there's not very many high braking zones apart from turn 1 and turn 2. Now, I remember back in the 90s when the Ratifilia was actually 2 sets of chicanes. There was a chicane, as soon as you exited the pit entry point, there was a bit of a right-hand turn.
You okay, Al?
Which then, like a little tiny kink, which then set up to first set of chicanes, and then you went up a bit more, and then there was a second set of chicanes more towards where the runoff area is at turn 1 and turn 2, and then you fed up towards the Curva Grande. I don't know, honestly, why they changed that.
Well, the double chicane was actually causing a lot of problems with speed, and it was not giving you an overtaking moment because of your line that you had to take to go through there. So they made it to one single chicane just to give the overtaking chance. But if you're going to remove the chicane altogether, then there's going to be no overtaking there.
No, there's not. There's literally, and even like DRS won't. That's all it will be, a DRS straight. That's all it will be. I think because you can maybe get overtake done on the Ascari if you're brave enough. Like we saw it like today, I got overtaken on Ascari. But even that's dangerous in itself. But we'll put a pin in that. We'll quickly read through the DxT starting grid, starting with your TNE pole position being Mano Biegveld. Great qualifying from him. No one beat the amazing time set by Samad, so Samad will take the title for the time being. We have Ken Doyle coming up in second place. Thierry Delaney hoping to hold his championship title chance alive in third. Johnny Stokes had a good qualifying there in fourth. Speedy not so good in fifth. We have TNE. TNE. Why am I reading that? Patrick Boillard in sixth. Dennis Collar in seventh. Scotty Harris, another poor quality from him, in eighth. Freddie Martinez in ninth. Robert Siska comes in 10th. They have Dean Fabrice in 11th. Mark Tresandi in 12th. Brett, maybe he'll be up with this guy's name. Let's reserve him.
Carlos,
there we go. Carlos in 13th, obviously having to start at the back as a reserve driver. So there's no I say, Harry today, so maybe you're surprised.
No, I don't know. I believe he's got a new job, but more towards the night, so I'm thinking he probably just wanted to sleep in today. Interestingly, like I say, March, I haven't seen race in a long time, starting a bit further back on an alternate strategy. He's always been quite proficient in doing these alternate strategies, so keep an eye on him. Had his 100th Grand Prix back in Canada, I do believe it was, so March is now the most, at this point now, March is now the most successful, or the most experienced driver on the circuit. He overtook me a couple of races ago, so he's now the most proficient driver on the grid. Started back in season 0 and has been racing ever since. So congratulations to Marsh, and I hope he does well.
One second, let's just check in a possible technical difficulty with one of the channels. I'm not sure. Okay, so one light, two light. So I'm Brett Gaz, you go.
Sorry, got that
Go!
Sorry.
Absolutely, we all cocked that up.
And Dicky had an absolute shocker. Carlos and Dicky have both had absolute shockers. They're miles behind the rest of the field heading into turn 1. Everyone's actually managed to really filter their way through cleanly, but Mano absolutely is bolted.
Well, I was going to say, I thought you had some technical issues with your stream, but it does appear you are still going live. I thought your stream had cut out, Brett.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought it was. But there we go. It was a very good start from these boys here, with no assists as well. It's fantastic to see no incidents in turn 1. I still reckon a bit of safety car at some point today, though.
Yeah, you always get someone making a little mistake where a safety car will come out. But I will be honest, we didn't see a single safety car in assists tier 2.
We had 2 back-to-back.
Yeah, literally back-to-back, wasn't it?
First one was caused by Kieran McClay having a really interesting crash at the Curva Grande. My only guess towards the situation is that he got on the grass, lost control, went off, or in the wet conditions he just drove off. The second one I think was for Liam Towie, who crashed at the Ascari chicane on the restart. So obviously in dry conditions it's not as easy to make a mistake as, Joe's going to fancy a move up the inside Thierry there. It doesn't quite get quite ambitious there from Joe. It's not a move I would have made likely, but of course Joe is fighting Thierry for the championship at the moment, so
13 points separate him,
so
he needs as much points as he can get.
I can confirm now that Tier 1 no assist is now ceased and desist, and Andrew Lee is now officially the 3-time TNE champion.
Well done. It's a shame. It is a shame, but fingers crossed, they can join here, maybe, and have some fun with the Tier 2 boys, as long as they don't cause too much controversy. But I'm sure they'll just be happy to race, to be honest. It's a big shame though. It's just, I think when the game comes to an end, like this one is, we've seen it here, like the season just falls off, especially when you get to halfway through. Some drivers be like, I can't be bothered, what's the point, I'm not going to win anything. They're not there for the long haul, which is a shame really. You're not going to win every race, guys, let's be honest, so just enjoy it. You're here to race in the day, just enjoy it. Mano setting the fastest lap so far, 1:22. As we have a move from Dennis Collar on Johnny Stokes up the inside of turn 1. Can he make it stick? Bit of contact there, bit of rubbing. Can Johnny Stokes hold it off? I don't think he can, because Dennis has got the inside line and the better grip. And he's just going to fly past. Can Johnny switch it back for the next chicane? It's a good overtaker spot if Dennis Collar can get it covered, but I think he's a bit too far back. Good move there from Dennis, as our first penalty comes up from Thierry. Fantastic racing here. Johnny Stokes now has got his teammate right behind him. These two do work very well together. So wait and see how this pans out. With DRS now activated as well. Bit of luck up there as well from Johnny Stokes. Go on, Gaz.
I see Scotty has had a better line through the Ascari than the 2 drivers in front of him. Much tighter onto the apexes, which gave him this little nice run into the Parabolica, which obviously he's kind of having to come off the gas a bit, as Johnny Stokes has a little bit of a wiggle there, and his teammate and Patrick Ballard do get past him quite nicely.
Yeah, it must have been a brown trousers moment there for Johnny Stokes, but he does manage to gather himself. Just lost 2 places there, so better that than losing a wheel.
Absolutely. But I would love to see Robert Siska get up there on the podium.
Robert Siska.
Being the only Italian, yeah, it is Robert Siska, isn't it?
Yeah. No. I was just shocked to the.
Yeah. The reason why I want to see him on the podium is because he is the only Italian on the grid, and this will be his home Grand Prix. So it'd be quite nice for him. Just as I go mention him, he's like, yeah, he picks up a penalty.
So what's your view on penalties around this track as well? Because we saw a lot today in the assist tier 1. I think I picked up 5-second penalties because I kept losing concentration or just getting hit up the backside.
Well, the penalty system for Monza doesn't match real life.
No, it does not. Like, and again, we know this from like early days. There's a lot of tracks. Like Spa comes to mind. Yeah,
the Ascari, you've got the allowance of the red and white curbs, whereas if you ride them a bit too much in the game, you do get a penalty, which means that you're never going to be able to meet the racing line that you should be taking. Obviously, because the game generates the safe racing line, they call it, because it's the safest, relatively quick racing line. It's not the best, but
it's not the fastest racing line.
It's definitely not. It's far from the fastest, but it is the safest. When you got Speedy, who's just picked up a penalty there going through the Variante della Ferrovia, which it's the one where you're going to get the most penalties from, because you can't ride those curbs as much as you would see on F1.
Yeah,
but
it's also on the second Lesmo on the exit, I think, as well, because you naturally want to run wide to make sure you carry as much speed as you can. As we have yellows at the back, I think that is from Carlos. Got a bit out of shape there. Has he got any damage? No, just a spin. Just a spin.
Yeah, just a spin. But this is where you're looking at it thinking where you're going to pick up the penalties from the most, and it is between the corner you said you will pick them up there as well. The Ascari is very tough. If you can't ride the curbs, it's really tough to take that on. But again, it's fair because everybody is in the same situation.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I think it's worse when you have, for example, the F1 is actually racing the same track as you're racing that same week. If that makes sense. So you watch the race and you think, oh, okay, you can run wide there. You go to copy it, and then you get a penalty. So it's frustrating in that sense. But once you get the hang of literally it's a black and white, do not cross these white lines, then you're fine. I think it is frustrating on some tracks. You see Dennis Collar there doing exactly that and running wide, possibly just about on track there, but it's just natural for the car to swing that way. You just gotta really go against your own instincts, which is it's hard, but
absolutely,
it's just one of them things in it, I suppose. This is another exit. The exit at Ascari as well. I think it's difficult for
the final exit. Yeah, it's there was a little dirty rumour that I heard of a future game where it allows the online league mode to have stewards involved in it. Ooh. Which means they can adjust some corners for the penalties, so they can follow the F1 rules where they go right on, say on here, they go right, oh, okay, 10-7 on the exit 10-7 you can run wide onto the curb there, which is the second Lesmo corner. So meaning that stewards can actually adjust the line so you don't pick up those automatic penalties for following the F1 line.
Dennis Collar gets really unstuck there through that second chicane. Managed to keep his car on track, which is unbelievable. Went into a bit of a Tokyo Drift moment, but did open the door for Scotty, who has jumped up into fifth. Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. I was just kind of finishing off my points anyway. But I would love to see that become a really installed in the game. You have your commentators that could steward the race
Yeah.
So it's actively on point where they can go, right, actually, yeah, they deserve the penalty, they don't.
Well, honestly, iRacing does have this policy where you can assign a steward which can deploy safety cars, give penalties, remove penalties, and all that sort of stuff. So it's not an unguaranteed feature. And I'm pretty sure a MotoGP game has a live stewarding system as well. So it's, the technology is there for these companies to do it. I'm just not sure. I mean, we don't know what F1 2021 is going to bring on the PS5. We don't know a lot about what the future... Because obviously, I don't think while we're on PS4, Codemasters or EA Games or whoever the hell runs the joint is going to incorporate something like this, because it could be possibly too big of a task. But moving into the next console, as Mano picks up a 3-second, which means Ken's in a box seat here, but... maybe when they move to strictly PS5 only games, it could be a possibility, as well as bringing back red flags.
Yeah, definitely. And I fingers crossed as well, a simple one is the lapping on the safety car. Hopefully they'll bring that back as well.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
It needs to be done. It does need to be done. But somebody, like, obviously, if you watched Brett's stream for the assist tier 1 today, you saw myself...
Hold up. Terry's just made a move on Ken.
And then Johnny Stokes has made a move on Patrick.
Oh, Mano's in the pits. Mano pitting early there for a set of...
And I do apologise for people watching my stream. I'm just trying to dissolve this... Well, it's not... I wouldn't call it tension, but I'm just trying to dissolve this tier 1 matter.
So, Johnny Stokes took on Patrick just before the parabolic. Okay. On the exit, loses a bit of ground, and then Patrick has managed to get it back in 2-6 before the first chicane. So a fantastic battle there between those two drivers.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So yeah, what I was saying was, if you watched the Tier 1 assist race today, you saw a lot of 5-second penalties being picked up. Normally it was due to contact on the safety car, because you get an instant 5 seconds if it's your fault or not. For example, I lost concentration, hit the back of someone. I believe he didn't get a penalty, but obviously I did, which is deserved. There was another one where we had the Delta come up, and I've hit the brakes because my Delta was going up. I was over my Delta. The car behind hit me, so he gave us both 5-second penalties, which I thought was a bit. So if these live stewards are a thing, or can be a thing, it would be good if those kind of ones can get deleted. I think everything else has to be probably done outside of the race, so you can actually have a look at things. Adjusting track limits would be nice, but then I think it's just you're going to different league races and that kind of stuff. The league system, I know from the start of this game, didn't work very well. It just kept constantly crashing as we see some more drivers coming to pit. So if they make the league system work better and have penalty, where the people can adjust points and stuff, then fantastic. But if not, as we see Dennis Collar making a great move there past Scotty Harris up into second place provisionally at the moment, because everyone is starting now to pit. Nothing Scotty could do there to defend, but can he come back? Very low ERS at the moment from Scotty. He's on 60%, whereas Dennis on 41. I don't think Scotty's going to be trying that one.
See, okay, so for you, Hobo, what was your tyre strategy for around Monza?
For today?
Yeah, for today.
Oh, sorry, big crash. Oh,
Patrick Ballard.
How's he managed to keep his car intact there? Be careful, guys.
I'm actually on board with him. I'm on board with him. My eyes were just going crazy because it was vibrating. His nose was stuck into that metal fence there, and his car was vibrating like something crazy.
Yeah, I saw that myself. I was actually thinking, I remember there was a race back in Tier 1 Assist Season...
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you again. Mano tried to go around the outside of March for Sandy. I think Marshall just got basically caught up in the trajectory and kind of forced Mano off track, because Mano lost a lot of places there. Has he got no damage though? So just time.
Carlos also had an off. But yeah, season 6.5, there was a crash with Theodore and I think it was Theodore and Jerome. And I remember Jerome hitting the wall. His car rolled to a stop. and I'm thinking, what's happened here? And then all of a sudden, his wheel just plops off. So I thought, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, that's going to happen to Patrick. Now,
Johnny Stokes and his teammate there. Good overtake there from Johnny Stokes. Will Scotty come back at him? Round the curve.
Joe's had a really bad pit stop.
Yeah, Joe's lost a lot of time there. Did he have a 5-second penalty we missed?
No, he had a front wing change according to this.
Ah, front wing. There we go. So Scotty gets back past his teammate there with another fantastic overtake. So these two Ferrari drivers are currently no team orders. As Mark Sandy comes under attack from TP, Thierry's overtaken it very easily. Can Ken do the same? He's now fighting for a championship at the moment. Overtake fully open. Will March defend? That is the question. Will March defend this as they come into the Parabolica? It's going to be very close. Oh, March, but with the worst line there, nearly took himself into Ken, but did well to realise and give up the position. So Ken up into 5th place.
Squeaky bum time that was.
Yeah, I think Ken wasn't really aware of how close he was to being taken out of this race.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've just got Cairo sent a message in. Track limits are horrible. In this game, you try to run the same as live F1, you get warnings for it. Yeah, exactly what we said earlier. It's ridiculous. So yeah.
I'm hoping Freddie Martinez makes this alternate strategy work, because that'll be my preferred strategy.
1 second, guys. I'm gonna make a go onto the phone.
Alright, so I guess I'll take it from here. So we are currently 12 laps in.
Yes and no.
Freddie Martinez is the leader of the race, but he is on a variant strategy as he almost throws it into Ascarian.
I'd say that's the preferred strategy for around here. You'd want to start on the mediums, get most of the laps done you can, and then stick the softs on when you've got less fuel, when you can actually take advantage of the fast-paced course.
There is a bit of a what they call the safety car strategy based around the alternative strategy. So drivers that start on the mediums are kind of banking on a very late safety car, as we see Carlos, I believe, having a spin out of the second Lesmo. When he's taken a bit of his wing off with him, just careful waiting for Patrick. Almost. See, that's another feature I'd like to see, like a sort of a pull off to retire feature.
I don't do payroll, but
yeah,
that's meant to be.
So you can find a place to park, and then a crane, metaphorically, will pick your car up, or there needs to be a lot more physical interaction. And I know for a game like this, it's very difficult because it's not like Grand Theft Auto where human interaction is a lot more compound to the game, because it's more about the physical side of the story rather than whereas this game it's strictly racing. As Carlos nearly goes straight ahead at the Parabolica, but yeah, so a lot more human physical interaction would be pretty cool. I was talking to Lane yesterday in the F2 Nationals about a feature in an F1 career mode where you can walk around the pit paddock, interact with drivers, and if you bump a driver off, or you have contact with a driver, or you even crash with a driver during the race, they'll confront you, like when I think what's her name, Claire, interviews you.
Yeah.
The annoying Irish woman. But they'll interview you and say, what the hell was that about? And you get your sets of answers. Whether they're, you could have the smart-ass answer, your begging for mercy option, or your flat-out sort of generic answer.
Sorry to interrupt there. Just think Ken Doyle just make a pass on Thierry in the first chicane there. So Ken Doyle now up into 4th, and he's only got like Decky, who's in front of him right now, who's still got a pit. Mano is roughly about 5.2 seconds in front. So that's his next target, really, is Mano. Sorry about that, Brett.
Yeah, no. So your answer, basically what happens, your answer could reflect on the impacts of that driver on the track. So say you knock Lewis Hamilton off the circuit, and you decide, nah, stuff you, I'm going to be a smartass about why I did it, he'll remember that, and then on track, it will show, because if you try to overtake him, he might take an aggressive approach to defending you, because obviously he's still angry with you about what you did in the last race. I think that'd be really cool.
So basically, you're thinking that taking the report elements from RPG games such as like Skyrim, Fable, that kind of thing, where your actions reflect on people's attitude towards you.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting. That would be really good. It would develop the career mode into more than just a racing game. It'd be a racing driver game. So you actually encompass the whole life and lifestyle of a driver, which will be really interesting to take on.
The other element behind it too is that it would give the game a lot more depth. Now, understandably, I can understand that a lot of people watching this would be saying, no, we need to fix the offline or the online features of it, and arguably yes, the amount of bugs in this game that we're seeing. Although surprisingly for me, we saw
Freddie Martinez making a pass on Scotty.
Yeah.
Just before the Scary, and he's really close to Infinite Marsh right now, and he's making a move. Oh, what a move by Freddie! Because Infinite March makes a mistake, and now he's like opening the door for two cars to go past him. But
his strategy could be actually on point. His penalty is going to let him down a little bit. Dicky pits from 4th, so he'll be on the same strategy.
Decky's pitted late because he was sitting in 3rd earlier, and then he dropped down to 4th, pitted, and so he's going to have to work a bit harder to get himself back up to the level where he should be if he pitted 1 or 2 laps earlier.
And I believe Dan is back. No, I thought I heard him turn his mic back on. But so it's an interesting strategy from Freddie. It will be a safety car would help him, but would kill him at the same time. He's got a second. He's in the DRS range of Dennis, but he's still got to make up roughly about 8 seconds from here to catch the back of Thierry back in 3rd. Let's have a look at the penalty account. So they're all on 3 seconds, apart from Show Crime. Actually, speaking of that, who's that? That's just had an off at the second. I think that was Carlos again. Might have been getting out of the way of Show and Dicky. Dicky's right on the back of Show, actually, and that's an overtake for position just before the Ascari, which is a good move. And March is also in for a set of softs as well. And I believe March was another driver on the softs as mediums as well.
Freddie just moved up into 4th. Very nice take that. And did he get the fastest lap then as well?
Yeah, 21.6, I believe. I'll just double check that. 21.2.
So he's got at the moment he's 12.5 seconds off the pace of Mano. I really don't think he's got it in him with those tyres to get up there. But podium's definitely on there because TP is just up the road. So 6 seconds off. He just needs to push a bit harder and get there because he can do it with these tyres. He definitely can. If he's got the pace on him, I'm sure he'll get up there because TP and Ken Doyle will just be battling now for second.
So the battle for second place is still very much in play with Ken and Thierry. It's probably actually Joe's right on the back of Scotty as well, coming through the Ascari chicane, but that front wing change has really cost Joe in terms of not only the race but the championship as well, because he's fighting his teammate and he's fighting Thierry. Of course, Joe lost the championship lead last weekend out when Thierry was able to pull off the brilliant race win as Freddie does a 20.9, so that gap is slowly dropping. Now what can Joe do here?
Sorry about
Scotty holds the inside line. Roger that. And Joe going around the outside, he didn't quite get the move, or he's going to try and do his switch back out of the second of the red affiliate, but doesn't have the ground to.
It's very difficult to get the switch back on that because all the traction is on the inside, so very difficult for Speedy there. And as you can see, running low on ERS to boot as well. So sorry guys if you didn't hear any conversation on stream. I just forgot that I've got 2 mics on, so you would have heard part of my conversation there. Just the downside of being a boss, that you're contactable constantly 24/7.
So actually, Gaz and I were talking about a feature that should be introduced into F1 games, which is a kick driver interaction. So if you tap a driver off the field, off the track, they'll confront you in a cutscene, to which then you've got to answer a question as to why you think you did what you did, and your reaction will dictate how they react to you on track.
Oh, we've got TP making a move on Ken. Up into the first chicane. Makes it complete.
Yep.
That'd be interesting. What I would like to see, actually, from a spectator point of view, do you know, like, was obviously at the moment we're all watching similar sort of races. If Speedy gets past Scotty, I would like to see if, like, you know, when you drive like getting close, both things happening, or a crash has just happened, is to see either a mini replay that comes up like you do in F1, where it comes up between the 2 names. Like, that'd be pretty cool to see, as Scotty's making another run back at Speedy down the inside. Can he get it stopped in time? And he can. It's a great move there from Scotty, back out in front. Speedy's got a hard time with it today.
Yeah, I just need to ask Izzy what's up, because she's just mentioned my name on the stream. Don't know. And Carlos is saying no assist is freaking tough. Now, I mean, if you've literally turned your assist off just to race in this, I mean, it's not bad of a track to do it, but it's still a pretty bad track to do it. If you really want, I think the best track to do it would be Spa-Francorchamps, because it has everything.
I'd go with more USA. USA has the collection of every corner.
Oof. Nah, I mean,
see,
in terms of difficulty with the track, Spa would be a lot easier to learn because it's a lot longer, whereas with the USA, it's just bang, 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 corner, corner after corner after corner.
Well, that's what you need. You need to be able to take on those from 10, 12 right up to 10, 20. That's where you need to put your testing into it. Because I'll be honest, I've gone over to no traction control, and I struggle with holding it in some lines, and I practice my heart out on USA. Even though I hate the circuit, I think it's the worst circuit on the F1 calendar. I practice it because it had the collection of all the corners. Because I do find, like, a Spa, most of the corners are quite similar. You have one main slow corner, you have one chicane, you don't have any double apex turns really, apart from Poulon, which is very wide, so you could take a full throttle anyway. So I do think the USA would be the one to practice on, but everybody has their own points on that, don't they?
Personally, I practiced on Austria because I had a real death wish.
Well, oddly enough, my return race after 4 months not touching the game was Austria. So, in terms of readjusting, because obviously I don't use assists apart from racing line. Going into iRacing, you don't have racing line on period, and you're fixed to cockpit cam. So, you sort of got to deal with what you've got. It's not so bad readjusting, but in terms of assist, ABS is probably the easiest to turn off. Most people beg to differ on that one. I'm sure Amar begs to differ on that one because that's the only one he ever keeps on. Racing line is certainly the hardest one to turn off, just because people talk about it not being an assist, but while it's not what we call an assist, it's called a visual aid. And yes, people say, yeah, but it's in the assist menu, so it's an assist. That's technically because you wouldn't want to isolate racing line into a thing called visual aid, because it would be the only thing literally in it, maybe other than the virtual mirror. So, or the bar with the Halo bar.
Yeah, it's
Halo,
just-
yeah.
That's like it's cosmetic really, rather than changing the ability to drive it. Because you could have the racing line there on or off. It's not going to change your driving skill. It just gives you something to aim for.
Yeah,
Whereas-
it's just a visual. It's a visual marker, and literally 90% of the time, the racing line isn't even accurate. So you don't tend to follow it. It's
No,
just
not
there,
at all.
so you know roughly where to brake.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, the racing line itself. It's a mathematically safe line, not a actual racing line. It's there to make it give you the safest line through the corner rather than the fastest. So it's just a guideline, nothing else.
Johnny South runs wide, gets his first penalty there. That's going to really cost him because he's actually currently been held up by his teammate. He's really from off the pace now of Joe. But yeah, there are some things I would like, to be changed and stuff. But to be honest, with the game how it is, I think adding more features to this current game, or to a game that's based on this, will just add more bugs and more things to go wrong. Unfortunately, the game is not perfect.
It just seems to be that every time they seem to think they've fixed an issue,
They've caused
another one sort of rears its ugly head. So, we rant and rave about it, but it's not going to change, because the problem is that we rant and rave here, but we don't rant and rave to Codemasters, and even then they ignore half the people, because it's like, we know that's a problem, but there's nothing in their books, there's nothing they can do about it. But they can, it's just that because we're so close now to the next game, they're not willing to put any more effort into this. What I personally think, this is my biggest thought process in it, because we know that Grand Theft Auto has divided from Grand Theft Auto Online, as Freddy picks up another penalty, so that's going to ruin any hopes of him snagging the podium, although he has brought that gap down to literally under a second to Thierry, to Ken and Thierry, so that's a great job. But what they need to do is divide these F1 games. So they need to make a disc for the offline career mode and all that stuff, which means they can work on more of career mode, have a team on that, and then they have a disc that is F1 online.
Yeah, that would definitely work.
It's
Ken making another
Ken's
little
making
run.
an audacious dive on Thierry.
He's got a better traction as
Passing
well, so
these.
can he do it?
Through the
he's-
Curve Grande, he'll have the inside, but if Thierry can hold it around the outside, which
No,
he can't.
Good move there from Ken. He's had to make his move there because obviously 4 laps to go in this race. He wants to really close in on this title race.
Well, the other thing too is that he's got a lot of ERS to burn as well, whereas Thierry's kind of used his up, so
Yeah.
there's not really anything Thierry can do to remount this attack unless he makes Ken use up his ERS, and at the same time, that's Carlos at Parabolica.
Yeah.
Freddy at the same time has got... Oh! That was, Oh,
What
Freddy
just
went
happened?
for a...
What just happened?
Freddie went for a last-minute lunge on Thierry and then backed off at Ascari. It was just so... I don't know if Freddie outbraked himself or something, but he just threw the car up the inside and braked in time just to stop it. That could have been a hell of an accident if that had gone through. And I'm sure Thierry would have had a sense of deja vu. Freddie's actually really throwing that car around in Sector 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up a third penalty very shortly.
Johnny Stokes once again gets overtaken by his teammate there. These Ferraris swapping places left and right as Speedy is now pulled away. 1.5 seconds to gap between those two. We're watching the battle here now for second place.
They're all 6. Johnny has 3, so Johnny might still be able to jump his teammate at least. Freddie picks up some more dirt. I think, actually, no, that might have been Thierry that might have picked up the dirt there. let's
They're
see if this
well right
happens
now. They stay
again.
ahead of him. But yes, Thierry back within DRS of Ken, still right up his backside, but lost a lot
Freddie
of time
had a
there.
really good run out of.
Yeah, Thierry had to break mid Ascari, so not a best line from Ken, which hampered Thierry, which could leave the door open now for Freddie. But Freddie gets a bit unstuck, manages to hold it, so that's going to lose any momentum he was gathering as we enter the penultimate lap of this race. They're still battling it out though, still fighting for every single
Thierry's
position.
got no ERS, he's a sitting duck.
He's going to survive for one more lap, possibly. He needs to save as much as he can through this lap.
Yeah, he needs to hope that Ken picks up a penalty if he wants to jump ahead. But in terms of the championship, I'll just have a look at that again just to know where Ken is versus Thierry.
He's right behind him.
Ken is 32 points behind Thierry, so Thierry can afford to surrender 5 points at least.
He's starting to get
3
a bit
points
of it.
in this case, I should say. No, well, you never are. You never are. You're never going to be happy when you're losing points against the leader. But more critically, he is going to extend his points lead over Joe by at least 9 points. So Freddie has the fastest lap, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, Mano's just been on this roll from the sounds of it for the last few rounds, and just unfortunate. It sounds like the start of his season didn't go quite to plan.
No, it didn't at all. Started this season, I expected Mano to be up there because we watched him last season as well, so I did expect him to be making some moves, and it just didn't happen. And now we're just seeing the true Mano pace come back as he starts his final lap, just ahead of these guys, a couple of seconds up the road. Yellow flag says the back marker Carlos moved out the way. We must be very careful as we have these three coming very fast behind.
There's Carlos Corda to make something different happen here.
Ken made a mistake in.
Go on, Brett.
Yeah, no, I was just saying exactly what you were saying. He made a mistake just coming out of the chicane, and Thierry didn't quite capitalise on it, and not really much Thierry can actually do at this point. He just doesn't have enough ERS to mount a challenge, unless he can get a good run out of here and then try and... No, he just doesn't have the run. He just seems to be so compromised through Ascari. And I don't know if Freddie would be wise to make a move, but he could have made a move up the inside and really juttled the order, but I think he knows better than that, as Mano crosses the line and wins. If this time he wins the race, and Ken should hold on to second, and Thierry third.
Yeah, fantastic from them three there. Good old battle. Fantastic race on Mano. As Dennis Conner will come in 5th place. Can Joe jump him? I don't think he can. Too many penalties for Joe. Comes in 6th. Johnny Stokes going to cross the line in 7th. Oh, Johnny Stokes so like you said, Brett, Johnny Stokes has jumped Speedy. Jumped Joe Roberts there.
Yeah, I think there was a strategy play with the two Ferraris. I think Scotty actually let Johnny go, knowing that they could at least still... Because there's one thing I know from experience of last season when I was racing. Joe doesn't like Scotty and Johnny. It's not a personal dislike. He just doesn't like the idea that he gets beaten by them all the time. So that would have hit Joe where it hurt.
Yeah, definitely. He won't like that. Obviously, everyone's competitive here. Freddie Martinez gets the games driver of the day. Are we in agreement with that one?
I would.
I personally didn't pay much attention to today's race, so I'll just go take your word for it.
He started 9th. He used the alternate strategy, which I do think is the strongest strategy anyway, and he's made it work really well.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate he picked up the penalties.
Yeah, it was fantastic to see this race and the alternate strategy working as well. So let's jump to the final standings. So our race winner is obviously Mano. Had a perfect weekend, nearly perfect weekend. Obviously, Freddie Martinez has spoiled that party for the fastest lap. Ken Doyle comes in second, Thierry in third, Freddie comes in fourth, Dennis in fifth, Johnny jumped Joe Roberts there in sixth place on penalties, Joe comes in at seventh, Scotty in eighth, Dean Fabrice picks up another 2 points there for his campaign in ninth. We have Robert Siska, another point for him as well in 10th, and yet no points unfortunately for Infinite March and Patrick Boilard. And a good showing, you know. I've got to give a hat off to Carlos. First racing, no assist, and he stuck it out. 2 laps down, but he done very well there. So well done, Carlos.
I mean, when you're basically throwing yourself in the deep end, you know, no one forced Carlos to race. He raced on his own choices. He turned off. Well, he didn't actually have a choice. The assists get turned off manually by the coordinator. So you know, you throw it in there. Understandably, you struggle, but you know, he held, like you say, he held it in. He didn't pull in the pits and retire. And he was respectful enough to the drivers on the track not to cause an accident. And you know, he drove really respectable. So I would actually almost be inclined to give him driver of the day more than Freddie on that account. But of course, as a reserve, you can't really.
No, but that was fantastic.
Really do that,
I said I know that obviously me and Brett both have dabbled in no assist. Gaz recently just turned off traction control, plus he's on the way, I should say. But yeah, it's very difficult.
I mean, you guys kind of got lucky that you turned your assists off in 2019, wasn't it?
Yes.
Those.
Yeah, 19. Yeah.
2019 to 2020 are the 2 easiest, in my opinion, games to be on no assists. I turned my assists off at the end of 2017 to the beginning of the 2018 game, and that was a nightmare.
I will be honest. I'm actually. This is like I got the 2019 game just before the 2020 game came out, and that was my first F1 game in years. My game before that was the Formula 1 game for the PlayStation. So I've not even played a Formula 1 game since then. It was a huge gap. It's like 20 years of not playing F1 racing.
It's not too bad. Mine was 2013 was my first game back from playing the last game. The last game I played was F1 2001, but the last game I owned was F1 99. And then, yeah, jump into 2013. Didn't know half the drivers, like some of the names sort of, you know, Sebastian Vettel and all that, I never heard, because Formula 1 disappeared off my, off the TVs at where I lived as well, so kind of lost touch with Formula 1 for a long time.
Yeah, I think I was in the same boat actually, because I used to work at a theme park, so a lot of the time I was working during the times F1 was on. As Mano was joined, obviously Thierry and was already in the party, so Thierry has joined as well, and just waiting for Ken, and then we can get underway with the TNE at Victory Lane. But well done to all the drivers that took part today. Special shout out to what I said to Carlos, who did make that jump. It's very difficult to do, and it's good to see someone taking that leap. While we're sort of waiting for these guys to come in, don't forget, guys, do check out the description below in the channel of the DxT TV Live. You can see the new Discord we got going. The official DxT TV merch as well is down there as well. So do have a look at that. And also as well, if you can not subscribe yet, please hit that like subscribe button. I am only 5 away from 100, and I promise after that I will stop begging. I will stop begging. And there we go.
Whereas we are currently...
Yeah, you've been going longer than me, alright?
we're currently 12 away from 600, so...
You've been going longer than me, so I'm happy with what I've got. I made a jump quite quickly, I think. Let me just...
So I guess we've got... Who have we got? We've got
everyone's here,
all 3 of them, I believe.
Yeah, yep, so we'll start off with our 3rd place finisher, Thierry. Thierry couldn't get the best of Ken today. You had some good little ding-dong battles we saw. Disappointed with today, or are you quite happy with 3rd place?
No, I'm quite happy actually, as I gained a lot of positions on Joe, so yeah, that's better for the championship standings. And yeah, I wasn't just quick enough today, and Yeah, I had a really good battle with Ken overall throughout the race, and on the last couple of laps he was just too quick. I think he had more ERS than me, and I was like, I have to stay in his DRS to protect myself from Freddy, and yeah, I did it and it worked perfectly. So yeah, I'm quite happy with P3. Yeah.
So was it a struggle with the ERS today? Did you find it hard to manage? Because we obviously the gap of the ERS was actually quite a lot, but that nearly double I think Ken had over you. Was it difficult for you to manage today?
Yeah, well, for the most part of the race, Ken was behind me, so I tried to defend a little bit. So yeah, then it makes sense that you're using a little bit more ERS than the guy behind you, as he's also got DRS. So it was definitely a little bit of a struggle because I was defending, but I mean, for the rest, Italy is not a major track where, well, a track where you always struggle with ERS. So yeah, I think I managed it quite well, and yeah, I'm happy with the race, how it went.
Well done for your third place, pal. It was a good race to watch. Ken, jump on to you in second place. Must be happy with that again. That's like you said earlier. You had great battles with Thierry. Managed your ERS a lot better, which I think did help out in the long run. How did you find the race from your point of view?
It's nice to have a good race without any spins for a change. So, and then have a good battle with Thierry as well. It was good fun. Just like he said, he was ahead for most of it using ERS, and I just stayed behind and didn't use a lot and made the overtake when I felt I needed to stop myself coming under threat from Freddy.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. I said Izzy will be definitely happy having two of our biggest fans get on the podium today with you both. Did she give you any coaching today? I know that she's been commentating today, so she had a bit of an insight. Did she give you any tips or tricks?
Nah, she was no help today.
No help. Do you hear that, Izzy? No help. Right? If I'm Ken himself, no help. No, well done. Obviously, your boy your boy Speedy couldn't get past the two Ferraris today. Is that going to affect your championship, do you think, for the constructors?
Well, I've still gained a few points on Red Bull with Harry not racing, so still going to be pretty close for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. But well done for your second place. It was a fantastic race. Moving on to Mano, who's found his form finally. Only took him 14 races, but he's finally won so many now on the trot. Mano, man, where's this come from? Like we say it at the start of this, when you first start getting podiums, that you was not there. Like you was never on the podiums at all in the start of this season, and now you just found your pace again. What's the difference? What's changed?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe mentally, maybe I just resetted my mind or something. I don't know. My main focus was just to have fun with the game, and as soon as I enjoyed the game more, I just got better results, and yeah, I don't know, it just paid out a little bit, I guess.
But today you dominated completely. Like no one had a chance of catching you. Is this a track you particularly like, or was it just pure setup or management?
It's not my favorite track. It's a track that I like. But to be honest, I really thought that Cherry or maybe Ken or Speedy or I don't know who, just that I was going to be a tough race today. But I just saw that my pace was better than I thought, to be honest, and also in the quali. But yeah, my main focus also was just consistency, and it worked out. So yeah.
Yeah, so you pitted a lap earlier than everyone else. Was that a key part of your strategy going forward, or is it something that Jeff suggested?
Yeah, I was. No. I was thinking about it to. I was scared to be undercutted, so I thought, you know what, why not just do it myself, so I cannot get undercutted. And I knew the undercut was pretty decent at this track. And just try to focus on managing my tires, and it worked.
And also, on your first lap on your mediums, you had a bit of a tanglement with Infinite March. Have you got any
Yeah,
comments
yeah. I
on
don't know
that?
what happened, to be honest. Well, no. I was just happy that I didn't got any damage because I didn't know what he was thinking. But yeah, just leave it for what it is and move on.
Speaking of actually, of Infinite March, Ken, do you know how close she was as well to being taken out by Infinite March at one point on the Parabolica?
No, was it close?
It was very, very close. He nearly clipped your rear wheel. It was very, very close.
You probably would have heard me giving out from here.
Yeah, that would have been the Ken we know spinning. Obviously not your fault, but yeah, it was very close. We wasn't sure if he was aware of it or not, but yeah, it was very, very close. Gaz, have you got any questions for our podium sitters? Gaz, are you there?
I think he's sleeping.
He's asleep. Yeah, he's a new sleeping beauty. Brett.
Like Nevo.
Yeah, like Nevo. Brett, have you got any comments for our top three?
I do have a question for Mano and Thierry. You have to answer this in English, though.
All right.
How quick je uitbeen in de winter?
Wait, what? Can you repeat it again?
What?
How quick je uitbeen in de winter?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, I'll
What are you trying
translate
to
it.
say?
How do you grow I said in Dutch, how do you grow strawberries in winter?
What's the actual Dutch for that? Let's get the actual Dutch for that.
Yeah, let's get the actual Dutch.
In de kassen, denk ik. Ja, ik heb geen idee. I don't know, actually. Maybe it's... Oh wait, it's supposed to be in Dutch, right?
Yeah.
Ja, ik denk dat het uit Spanje komt of zo. Dat het over wordt gevlogen. Dat, uit
Wait,
Spanje,
that's-
omdat het daar altijd warm is of zo.
So Google Translate is crap. Okay,
Wait,
keep
that's
that going.
all of that to say how do you grow strawberries in winter? It's that whole sentence you just said.
Oh
I
no,
said-
you answered the question.
Oh, no, how do
Oh,
you
yeah, answer the-
say how do you grow strawberries in winter in Dutch?
Oh! Hoe kom je aan aardbeien in de winter?
Okay, so I was close.
You were
I was
far.
close.
Yeah.
Just
I was about
Yeah,
to
you
say,
were,
the
yeah, you were.
you were
pronunciation
that
just got a
far
bit
off.
It was just the way
No,
the
but in all seriousness, for Mano in particular, so it's noticed to me that you're starting to pick up a trend that your mate D'Amalio has picked up. Your pace has started to come up throughout the ranks, and you're starting to become a prime contender. So, how much of impact does that have with you and D'Amalio in terms of that? Especially given that you two have been so used to racing together, and this is the first season that you've been apart. How much has that influenced you to try and get back up to tier 1? Not that it really exists anymore.
Yeah, well, in the beginning, I just didn't know what to think about it because I was not really sad, but a little bit disappointing that I wasn't driving with him. But I'm driving every time with D'Amalio to practice F1 sessions, and I noticed that my pace was starting to getting better and better every time, and yeah, I don't know. The gap between me and D'Amalio in the beginning was way bigger than it is now. So I think he's dragging me forwards in pace terms. But yeah, for now I'm just focusing for this season and what's coming next. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if my pace is going to be even better in the next game because I had a big struggle to come from F1 2019 to F1 2020, and you saw how big the gap was between me and D'Amalio in the beginning of the season. Yeah.
And then my question to Ken. I saw on your Instagram that you went to see a lighthouse.
I did.
Is that the reason you dogged me in the interviews for F2?
Yeah, probably.
You fucker.
I like doing interviews for DxT. Commentators of the year.
Oh yeah, here we go. The
He
big.
knows where it
I
is.
should have figured as
Well,
much.
in honest,
Nah,
why would you waste your time? You'd rather go to an award-winning commentary team than your stream.
Because you get to talk to the one of the greatest commentators in time, Lane Everingham.
Who?
And you, Brett.
Yeah, and me. I just don't want to toot my horn.
So, Gaz, any questions? Are you back now?
The only question I've got is everybody looking forward to Singapore next week?
Oh, yeah, we'll start with the third placer today, Thierry, Singapore.
In my opinion, the most exhausting race on the calendar. So, yeah, mixed feelings. I like the track, but it's a very, very long race. It's got like 23 corners or something. So, yeah, at the end of the race, you're totally destroyed, I would say. But yeah, it's a good track, so I'm looking forward to it.
Ken, same question.
It's probably one of my favourite tracks on the calendar, so I'm looking forward to it. But
Oh, you guys are nuts.
like
I love
Thierry
it as
said,
well,
it's
I
a long
agree.
race. It's a long
I
race.
don't
and
mind
it's
I don't
lose
mind Singapore.
concentration.
Singapore doesn't like me.
Oh,
I think last season proved that when I was running P3 and then got spun by Nizzy under the safety car.
Mano, same question. Singapore.
Yeah, I think the same as Jerry. Just high focus for a pretty long time, and yeah, I'm just focusing on not getting damaged because that can screw your race up real quick.
Yeah, and fingers crossed it's a dry race because you don't want no rain in Singapore.
Oh no.
So no rain dancing, Brett. So I think we'll wrap it up there anyway. So thank you everyone for watching. Do make sure you tune in to DxT Ferret Gaming tomorrow for the first official race in the FSL Formula Super League, where you can see your best team TTFL racing for their first time. Our lineup for that is amazing, so do tune in and see some of the amazing drivers we've got representing the TTFL flag. Myself being the race engineer as well. Other than that, don't forget to tune in as well. But we're back to regionals on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday for Singapore. And then obviously we're back to the TTFL on Friday for the same track. And then back here again for the no assist. Fingers crossed we can try and sort something out for... sorry guys, Brett.
No F2 Nationals this week, as of course they don't go to Singapore. Tune in next week to this particular stream where it will resume as officially renounced No Assist Tier 1. So that will be the play. So Tier 2 will now become the official Tier 1.
So well done guys, we'll get promotions for everyone.
And congratulations to Andrew Lee, who is now a 3-time TNE World Champion and has been inducted into the Transnation Esports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well done. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for your drivers for driving, and thank you guys for joining us as well in the interviews. And obviously, thank you Brett and Gaz for joining us today. It was a fun race.
I definitely think I might commit to this a bit more full time if the seats aren't as big. Certainly interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Gaz, what's your final thoughts on the race?
Well, I will be honest. I thought Assist Tier 2 was much more entertaining, but there was some fantastic battles between the drivers. The Ken Doyle, Thierry and Thierry battle throughout the whole race was quite intense. So, thanks guys for the show that you put on. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so we'll leave it there. So thank you very much, guys, and we'll catch you very soon. But yeah, thank you very much, and good night.